Hello and welcome to another episode of F1 Chat here on Technically Analytics. Today we're going to be talking about the thrilling British Grand Prix results. We're going to start with our usual last place team, Sauber F1 Kick. We start with Zhao P18, Bottas P15. Sauber looked even worse this time around. They actually looked very slow, and Zhao was 2 laps down by the end of the race, and Bottas was a lap down. So yeah, they didn't have a good race again. Not surprising. Every week I'm saying the same thing about them. Kind of tired of it. I wish they would do something to make their car better or improve something because they're just I don't know. I mean, it's bad. Kind of feel bad for Hulkenberg next year when he goes there. So moving on, we have Williams, Albon P9, 2 points, Sargent P11. Williams' best race in quite a while. Points finish for Albon. They actually look good in qualifying. Albon was in Q3. Sargent was in Q2, I think. So yeah, they look promising in this one. They actually put it together finally. Williams has had a tough year so far. The chassis incident, just the bad racing and all that. It's just like finally they got a points finish. They're still way behind the champ. They're still in 9th place in the championship. Sauber's in 10th. So yeah, it's not looking too good for Williams. Hopefully they'll turn it around though towards the end of the season. It's now the halfway mark. So yeah, and next we have Alpine. Ocon P16, Gasly did not start. Alpine's race kind of went south before it got started. Ocon couldn't find the pace. Gasly had an issue with his gearbox before the start. After the formation lap, he went into the pit and they retired the car. So, yeah, kind of a stinker for Alpine. They've been looking better actually. Like they've actually been doing a lot better and looking a lot better. And this race they just didn't have it at all. It just went wrong before it started. So, not great for Alpine. They'll have to get it back next week. And moving on, we go to Haas, K-Mag P12, Hulkenberg P6, 8 points. Haas looked really good in qualifying. They both were in Q3, Hulk was in Q3 and Magnussen was in Q2, I think. But Hulk managed to keep it in the points. He did lose at the beginning of the race. He lost a few places. Had it wasn't really a crash, but like a touch, I think. And then it's still a good result. Haas is in the championship still. They're trying to catch VCarb, who's the next team. And so let's just move on to the next team. VCarb, Ricardo P13, Sonoda P10, 1 point. Rough couple weeks for RB. Sonoda finally finds his form, breaks a streak of no points. He had like about 3 or 4 races without points basically. And Ricardo flopped again. I mean, no surprise there. These guys, I don't know, with Perez's performance, these guys might be in line for a call up to Red Bull, but their form lately has not warranted it. Let's put it that way. So Aston Martin, we have Alonso P8, 4 points, Stroll P6, 6 points. Alonso and Stroll both scored points, and Aston Martin finally returns to form after a few races without much to show for. So yeah, this is a really good result for Aston Martin. They kind of went quiet there. They've been kind of bad, kind of like not crashing, or not like crashing out or anything, but they haven't been fast. So this is the first race they've shown some speed and maybe some willingness to catch Mercedes, even though Mercedes is kind of flying away from them now. But yeah, overall a good race for them. Stroll impressively P6. You know what? Shout out to him actually for that. And then we have Mercedes, Hamilton P1, 25 points, and the race win. Russell did not finish. So Russell had got pole in qualifying. He had good pace, but his race ended due to a water system failure, like almost near the end of the race. So bad luck for him. He was doing really good too. Like he had the pace. They didn't make any mistakes, Mercedes. And Hamilton, on the other hand, he drove great and he picked the correct strategy, unlike McLaren and unlike his teammate. Unlike his teammate, he didn't have any failures. He got his 9th win at Silverstone, most for any driver at one track, his first win in over 900 days, and his 104th career victory. So this This was a big one for Hamilton. It really meant a lot to him because it's his last race at Silverstone with Mercedes, and he wanted to get a win for them because they did a lot for him. So yeah, it was nice to see him win, even though it was at the cost of my team, which is McLaren. Piastri P4, 12 points. Norris P3, 15 points. Piastri had a good race, but he got screwed over on a team strategy call. Basically, they forced him to stay out an extra lap when they were switching from the soft tire or the slick tires to the inters. He got pushed out another lap while Norris came in and got the tires, but then for Norris, he had a good race too, and he found the pace as conditions changed. So McLaren pitted him first, forced Piastri to stay out, and then in the second round of pit stops, when they took the inters off, it was Norris that was stayed out an extra lap, and Piastri came in for mediums, and then it allowed Hamilton and Verstappen basically to undercut Norris and then gain the pace. Like, he should have won if they cut the strategy right. Like, I mean, if they cut the strategy right with both drivers, they would have won. I think the play was actually to double stack, which is what Mercedes did. They double stacked Russell and Hamilton when they put them on inters, and it actually worked out great for them because if they didn't do that on the same lap as Verstappen would have easily just passed them on track. So, yeah, and Verstappen's switch to hards was actually a really good call. Norris went to softs like Hamilton, and it just didn't work out. Tires started falling off at the end. So moving on, we have Ferrari. Sainz P5, 11 points. Leclerc P14. Sainz had the pace, stayed in the top 5 for most of the race with a nice points haul, fastest lap. Sainz had a good race. Like, he was there. He was there the whole time. He never really faltered. So good for him. And then Leclerc has just been having a nightmare season since he won at Monaco. He would have been right near the top, except for Ferrari in their ultimate wisdom decided to pit him early for inters the first time it started raining. And it didn't rain that much, so he didn't need to switch yet to inters, but they switched him anyway, and then it ruined his chance of points. So he was at the back for the rest of the race. And then he had, because once you switch for a set of inters, you have to switch to another set if you switch too early, or because they're gonna wear out, especially if it's not raining. They're gonna wear out, like they're gonna smooth out because they have grooves, and it creates like extra pit stops, which you don't want. You don't want extra pit stops. That's bad. So moving on, we have Red Bull. Perez P17, Verstappen P2, 18 points. Verstappen struggled in qualifying and early on in the race. He got passed by both McLarens with ease. No defense whatsoever. He just knew he didn't have the pace. But then with a few gauge strategy calls and a switch to hard tires instead of the soft, he was able to pass Norris again and take second. Verstappen drove the wheels off the car, basically, is what happened. I mean, it was driver difference and driver strategy that really made the race for Red Bull. They didn't have the fastest car, that was clear, because Mercedes and McLaren were faster. So yeah, he really showed his driving skills there. And it was clean too. He didn't do anything dirty. He wasn't making moves late or anything. So yeah, it was a great race from Verstappen again. And then Perez, he just had one of the worst weekends he could ever have. It's crashing qualifying, went off the track, got beached, and then he had no pace in the race. And the rumors are swirling that he might get replaced. So yeah, it's kind of a nightmare season for Perez now. He might get replaced. He has a new contract, but I don't think that's gonna matter. I think Red Bull's looking to switch him out soon. So yeah, that's the British Grand Prix, one of the best races of the season besides Canada. And the whole grid looks very competitive, especially near the top. Mercedes, McLaren, Ferrari to some degree, and Red Bull, of course. They look like they could fight for the championship. So hopefully this interesting kind of pace and competition for wins and different drivers winning continues, because this is like really good. This is like the best season we've had in like 2 years now. So yeah, I'm excited for the next race. So tune in next week for the next race, and make sure to like and subscribe for F1 Chat.